Hi guys, this is attorney Chris Roy with Legacy Counselors. We're an estate planning law firm. We have offices in Massachusetts and Connecticut. Today I'm filling in for my boss Kevin Quinn, and I believe he calls this segment Take 5 Tuesday. So what are we talking about today? Blended families. So without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, so what is a blended family? A blended family is where there's a couple, let's say spouse one and spouse two, and they get married and they each bring their own children to the marriage. So let's say they were each previously married and they each had two children, and then they come together and they form a quasi family unit with 4 kids under their roof. 2 of the kids are spouse ones, 2 of the kids are spouse twos in this example. This is a blended family. So there's many examples of this. If they share one kid, that could be a blended family. That's sort of beyond really the point. The point is not to explain what a blended family is. Rather, it's to discuss some of the specific planning challenges. So if any of you guys have clients or if you yourself have a blended family, you'll know that thinking through some of these estate planning topics can be difficult. And it's especially difficult if, God forbid, something happens before there's a plan in place. So what are the specific planning challenges? The first is what happens at the first death? And the first question is, do I leave all my assets to my spouse? Of course, we want to make sure we're taking care of our spouse when we pass away, if we predecease our spouse. However, if I'm bringing children from a different marriage to that household, and I pass away first, I may want to think through, depending on how old the kids are, and how many assets I have, and how well off or how much my surviving spouse needs the assets. This can be a very difficult decision to make. So, but if I want to leave assets to a child at the first death, that may make some sense. But the biggest thing is just making sure, again, we're thinking it through. What happens if your spouse is young and you pass away, and let's say you leave a 40-year-old widow or widower. In that scenario, there's a high likelihood that they are going to get remarried. And you may want to make sure that the assets you built with them during your lifetime are protected for your children. So you may want to leave your assets to your spouse, but you also want to make sure you're protecting them from, let's say, a remarriage of your surviving spouse that ends in a divorce. You'd hate for your assets, I would hate for my assets, certainly, to go to, if I were to predecease my wife, to end up in my wife's new spouse's children's hands at some point. That sounds like a disaster. I want to make sure they go to my son. And the way in which I would do that is using something like remarriage protection. In the estate plan that you craft with your family, with your spouse, you can make sure that there are assurances in there to, again, in a way, guarantee that if you predecease your spouse and you leave them your assets, that they are ultimately going to stay protected so that at the second death, they end up where you want them to go. The last piece here is, and there's a lot of nuances here. This is just to get the gears turning. But another thing is just, what is the plan for the kids? There may be another biological parent somewhere, and they may be in the picture. They may be a great parent, but what if they're not able to? What if they're in a bad place? What if they predecease? What is the plan for the kids if you end up having to deal with the guardian, a guardianship? What is the next thing that's in line? What is the plan for that situation? And again, there's no right or wrong answer, but but you definitely don't want to get yourself in a situation where you are hoping for the best, because the way these things work out in the courts is oftentimes just not at all what you would have wanted or what the decedent would have wanted. So take care of your clients, take care of yourselves. And if they have a blended family, please ask them to think through their estate plan, talk to their estate planning attorney. And obviously, if you have any questions, or if there's anything we can help with, don't be a stranger. That's what we're here to do. I will be filling in for the next couple of weeks here, so I'll see you on the next edition of the Take 5 Tuesday. Till next time, that's Chris Roy from Legacy Counselors. Have a good week.